Talking with Jar. I'm your host, Jack Filson, and today we're going to be talking about how does how does learning about climate change make me feel? Well, if I had to put it one way, I think it makes me feel blissfully ignorant because as a grade 11 student, I feel like there's not a whole lot I can do about the ever-changing climate. And I mean, yeah, I can learn, but I feel like if I'm not doing anything for it, am I really helping? I think that's a bit hard to cope with almost. Like, at the end of the day, I feel good about learning about climate change because it's interesting to see, real world processes and how they are changing, but I just feel like we've, come so far since, pre-industrial times, especially with doing the model COP and, seeing, our actions, put into that simulation simulation. I thought was quite interesting. I believe that we can change as humans, but I think it will be hard. And I feel like doing the model comp was awesome, but we really only scratched the surface and what people are doing and how much we can do to almost prevent climate change, but not prevent it because it's already happening, but reverse it almost. I think that's biggest takeaway. And I think, again, doing that model comp, I think it does make me feel hopeful for the future. But I was a bit concerned because there was a lot we were doing and a lot we did not get done. And I think the hardest part is that it's not really about the climate, it's more so about us. Especially I know I was thinking about me saying that. That's actually because the zombie movie trope. It's not about the zombies, it's about the people. And I think that directly relates to climate change because we can do all these things and think about what we were gonna do, but if we don't agree on it, nothing's ever gonna get done. And I think that is the hardest part. And yeah, you got the money side and economical side and political side to it. And the environmental side, of course, but I think really the social aspect, I think is the hardest. Agreeing on things and putting things in place, I think is the hardest part about climate change. Diplomacy, yes, diplomacy. That is the hardest part about climate change. Also, I feel like our environmental science is so good, and the stuff we have is so interesting, and the advancements in it. And I think that's a part I really want to learn more about, the advancements in environmental science. But yeah, I think it is the diplomacy part. And I think what I want to explore further is the environmental science. So how people are achieving the stuff we have. It's called some tropical forests that the comp was talking about. But it's how did they get to that? Because I feel there's a lot of ideas that were maybe put down and a lot of ideas that didn't that fell through. But how did they land on that and stick with it? What made everybody vote for that and want to put that act in place? Because I think that part is very interesting. What, through all of this change and disagreement, what is the factor that makes us want to agree and put stuff in place that affects everybody? Because I feel coming back to the people, I think it's it's hard because we all got to agree on it. But what is that factor that makes everybody agree on it? Coming back to the blissfully ignorant part, I'm aware climate change is happening and it's real, but I feel it's hard. I mean, especially now, but maybe I just haven't done enough like research or something about it. But like I can't really do anything. I think that's like a bit of a tall order, like speech I feel sent to solve climate change. But I think like I think it's hard for the everyday person to help fight against it. Like you can do small things like take the bus or walk more or buy more locally sustainable stuff. Don't use your heating as much. But I just think in the grand scheme of things, like it's not a lot. And I think that's the part that's hard, is that sure you can do all this stuff, but again, the grand scheme of things, like how much is that changing? And I think that's like kind of a bad way to look at it, but I don't know, I'm a logical person, like that's how I think about it. But yeah. I mean, I don't know, like it starts small. Like grow like a garden or something. Or organize maybe a rally. I don't know, it's like what is that gonna do? Like and again, it's like you could be the best climate scientist, have this great idea, but have 51% of people not like it or disagree with it, and it never gets passed. But I think like that's such a cynical way to look at it. But I feel like we have to be like logical, and I think a part of that is a bit cynical. But I don't want it to be. I feel like this is coming across as like really cynical. But okay, let's look at positives. Positives. I mean, maybe starting small grows into something larger. Like, you might do like a small garden, and that leads into a community garden, and that leads into City of Toronto, like taking notice and making that like an initiative. So they start now. You got your local government, and that initiative is so good that the provincial government picks it up, and then the federal government. Now you have public gardens every state, and that state, every province, and that was all because you started your local garden. And I feel like that change is possible, but again, sorry, cynical, unrealistic, like kind of unrealistic. But it's interesting to think about that and what that could be. Yeah. I don't know. I just think reading the prompt here, what to do, and it's like I think I want to like research further on what more ways like we could do, like not just as a school, but as like the individual, because like what is the power of the individual versus power of like COP or COP, and if we can get like community versus higher ups, like what is the difference in that? Like how much influence does the single person or a community of people all across the nation have versus the COP, the stuff that they put in place? And I think that'd be interesting to show, and I think both, each their own, have their pros and cons, but I think it'd be interesting to see which is a better, like, sorry, better, like resource management. I think that could be interesting. But I don't know, at the end of the day, like, it is cool. Not climate change, but like the stuff that like could be done. And I think the ultimate thing, and why is no one talking about this, is that we just get a time machine, build a time machine, go back in time, and just like fix everything. But I don't know, it depends on what rule of time travel we have. Like, is it Back to the Future? Does it create a new timeline? But is that timeline better so we don't really care? But it's like, I don't know, like cancer is like an airborne disease. But we don't have if we don't have climate change, but cancer is an airborne disease? See, like, do we want to risk that? I don't know. So maybe time travel isn't a good option. But I have to think someone else. Again, I'm just spitballing here. I think it'd be interesting. And I think that's another part that I find interesting. I feel like there's so many possible things. Like that solution was a bit radical and I don't, probably improbable. But I think there's so many things that can happen. And so many things that can be done to fight against climate change, but I don't know if they're going to happen. Or if they are happening, like how much is that actually helping? And I feel like that information, again, I don't know, but I feel like that information should become more public. Like, don't we as citizens have a right to know what's going on with the climate? At least the climate follows.
Oh, Andrew, before you put that book in the oven, one.
Anyways, I think that I think that sums it up. Again, more of a cynical take, but it's like terrible. I think it's just like a real world view to look at it. And I think most people are blissfully ignorant to climate change. Like they know it exists, but are not doing anything about it. But I don't know. I mean, also sorry if the audio quality isn't as great as in this one. I'm recording this on my phone. I didn't have my mic. And airport mic just is terrible. So I tried my best. Also, I'm in a house full of people. So I'm kind of talking quieter. Anyways, hopefully I can fix it up in post. Anyways, I thought this was a good episode. I mean, I don't know if I'll continue making these, but maybe I will. I just need more prompts, really. Okay, well, anyways, that has been a successful jacking in with geography episode. I guess this is the end. Low key, this was a pretty good assignment. I did like it. Now I'm gonna find a good GIF for the video. Okay? Jack out, yo.